for an engaged discussion with Asian tech figures to discuss about entrepreneurships, emerging technologies, customer engagements, and partnerships. And today we have Eddie from Broom. How are you, Eddie?
Very, very good. Thank you for having me today.
I'm really happy to have you because I know you from a long time and you have a very interesting background here in Hong Kong. One of the things I would like to ask you before we start this interview is, can you introduce yourself, please?
Of course, of course. So my name is Eddie, as you know, not Maddie, but Eddie. I was made in China, like a lot of cell phone products, and then I went to Singapore and US for schooling and living and working, and
Mhm.
then eventually end up with Hong Kong, such amazing places where Eastern and Western culture will be in conjunction here. I've been my backgrounds was from insurance backgrounds. When I started my career, I was as is no more management associate doing insurance jobs. It's for me it's interesting to get a lot of things learning. But at the same time, I get bored easily. And then so after that, I quit my job and started different ventures, startups, for different industries.
So in Hong Kong, you have worked for first companies that you were created in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And after this, you work also for another platforms with various technology companies, right? Or telecom companies.
Yeah.
Could you explain a bit more what you have done before and how you came to work to Bloom?
Yeah, of course. All my past ventures are actually trying to solve some problems for people as myself. So my first startup, its name is called Hey Coins.
Hmm.
So for people living in Hong Kong like me, I don't really particularly like cash. Because I easily to forget bring the cash with me. Like I end up with have lot of coins. So my first step was just solve the people's pain points where they collect a lot of coins, which they don't know where and how to spend it. So we end up with eventually have the solution to have the kiosk where put everywhere in Hong Kong to collect those coins automatically and then convert into digital currencies.
This was really super helpful at that time. I remember I really enjoyed to use this kiosk everywhere in Hong Kong, like in Central, Causeway Bay, or even Mongkok, right?
Yeah, that was interesting experiences because this is my first startup and then it's combined with software and hardware. For me, I'm like insurance backgrounds or the business backgrounds. I don't really particularly know all the tech stuff. So when I started the first one, first startup, I went to Shenzhen and then Guangdong areas to for there for 3 months just for figuring out how it works and how I should assemble all the things together. So after several months, that's how we made it. And then, but I mean, the first prototype was not that good because counting speed, everything was not as particularly accurate. But it was then spent so much time to digging things out, and it's worked. It worked well. And then served the people in Hong Kong who got happy about it actually.
And after this, you work also for another company. The name was Hey Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Can you just explain what you are doing there?
Yeah. So actually, after my first startup, and then I went to sort of a big corporate world to drive different innovation project. So one of them is called HeyPar. Is actually combined. Is actually a platform to serving all the different SMEs, particularly in the F&B industries, where we're providing a lot of digital ordering, digital payments for them to solve a lot of operational issues, increase their operation efficiencies. And then at the same time, I have the chance to work at the Mox Bank as well, with one of the virtual banks in Hong Kong. So I was, very, very early, I was a staff, not staff actually, but a contributor, to build a bank together. It's quite interesting. Yeah.
And now you're working for Bloom for more than a year.
Yeah.
Can you just explain what is Bloom and what you are doing exactly on the market in Hong Kong?
Yeah. So Bloom is I would categorize it as a rewards program. So it's actually a Visa card rewards program. So what particular is about it is actually it's changed the how people perceive the rewards program entirely. So normally, if you're in Hong Kong, that you have so many different loyalty programs in the world, in Hong Kong. But how does we Bloom can standing things out? I think it fundamentally is about a customer experience. because normally if you go to different shops, they usually request you, do you have this program, do you have that program, right? And then you have to show your open your app and then scan your QR code for just reconciliation, the verifications. So we actually find it's quite hassle sometimes, and then you don't really particularly want to bring your phone out sometimes, and easily lose your points, but you're actually spending, right? So our solution is pretty simple. So we found Visa, and then we have such I would say it's automatically rebating system set up along with every Visa card transactions you have. So basically, how it works is you can link with you any of your Hong Kong issued Visa card to our app Bloom. After that, you're good to go. So you can spend with your Visa card online, offline. You can use the Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay link with that Visa card. You can spend anywhere, and then we'll be automatically collecting all the your spending a loyalty program, which is our Bloom coins for you. And then essentially you use that Bloom coins to issue different, merchants coupons, vouchers, including some Web3, assets like NFT and the cryptocurrencies.
When you start, I saw a lot of boom about your company with,
Uh-huh.
the kind of campaign that the bank can do for credit card here in Hong Kong. Can you just explain a bit? Was the journey for you from day one to now?
Sorry?
What was the journey for you with Bloom from like for the customer perspective from the day one to now?
Yeah. So the journey was interesting. So at the day one, we had the concept, which is so we trying to build a scenario, which when you work into different shopping malls, and then you can spend at the different shopping mall, and then you earn rebates. So that's the first experimental project that we had. It's called cross mall rebate. That's the first Bloom's, I would say first battle. And then we did it very well because we connected with the 11 malls in Hong Kong, including very top tier malls like Elements, K11s. And then we also connect with some very residential malls like TMT Plaza. So we've been observing how was the people's reactions, how was merchants' reactions, how was the malls' reactions. We're observing how this new innovative things can bring the new customer experience for everyone. Where is our value proposition would be. So at the first stage, we running this 11 more campaigns, super successful. And then after that, we found a very interesting. Normal what could be interesting observations is we actually serving, let's say, 100 merchants tenants in a mall. But when people go there, they only spend like 20% of the merchants, which is contributing at 80% of the GMVs we drive for the entire malls. So we start thinking about how could we leverage such behavior of the people to bring more value to the merchants, to the mall together. So after that, we our Brooms has been reforming ourselves. So we change our direction from providing services to malls, and then we provided more services to the merchant and the brand itself. So with the brand itself, is actually we actually provide more value to them by driving more people who spend particularly at that brand. For example, right now we're actually serving more than almost all the cinemas in Hong Kong. So you go any cinemas in Hong Kong, you get a automatically rebate by spending your normal Visa card. It doesn't change any of your behavior, but you get actual rebates. So why not? So people are just happy and sign up.
And how the idea came for this company to just start the product? Do you have like a kind of origin story for it?
Yeah, so Hong Kong has been, have been go through very tough years lately. So everything's social unrest, and then COVID hit, so the economy is so bad. And then so when we think about it, how we can do something about it with our own power,
Mhm.
and then we start thinking, my backgrounds, my passive, working, history was like, payments, right? So I'm thinking, I was thinking about what I can do with the, all the payment technologies, and then, how can we leverage that? Because if you want to like a rebooting the economies, you have to make people to spend, right? So when you're spending more from the users, and the merchants get better, especially SMEs can get better. And then all the large corporations can get even better as well. So I think these are positive changes which we can drive. So me and my partners, Justin, we went to find visas and I say, hey, can we do something together? And then Visa said, hey, cool. We have exactly the technology services that you guys probably need, and then we just form deeply as a strategic partnership, and then we start running it together at the beginning. So the whole thing was started is, can we do some bigger, solve some bigger pinpoints, which is the entire Hong Kong economy has. But this is not only Hong Kong's economy's problem, but also over the world. Because of the COVID, things get really really bad. So we're pretty sure that's how our company can bring the value to them is the blooming that economy is back. That's the reason why we name ourselves as Bloom.
Very good name. Can you also explain a bit what is the ecosystem of Bloom? We are working with virtual banks. You're also part of a big group as well. So maybe you can give us some of the information we need to understand about that particular ecosystem here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we come from two parts ecosystems. One part is car issuers, whoever issued Visa cards in Hong Kong or anywhere in the world, because essentially all our transactions have to be made through that particular channels and network. So that is one of the stakeholders. The second stakeholders we have is different merchant and brands that we have, because they are the I would say the contents for people to shop, right, to spend with the money with. So our goal is the connecting all the car issuers and the merchants more smoothly. So with our technology, automatic rebate, because we actually have the different variety of the offers. Like say for the merchants, we can provide crypto rewards to them, which is super super new for them, because a lot of people in Hong Kong was all knowing that I can earn loyalty points. I can learn maybe cash rebate, some discounts with cash coupons from spending at a particular merchant. But with all the Web3s going on, too many youngers that are more into these sectors. So they were still thinking, can I own and learn how to use cryptocurrencies? Can I get more information about it? But it comes back to the opportunity cost is too high to purchase one, you know, or invest one of the cryptocurrencies. So instead, they will be learning. I can get it more with lower opportunity cost. So we're started thinking injecting that concept into our behavior, customer journey, so that when people spend, they can either choose, I can get a cash rebate, NFTs. I can get, why not cryptocurrencies? I mean, for merchants, it's a super interesting marketing concept. Thinking about it, before you eating a burger and then you get loyalty points. Boring. But now you say, hey, if eating a burger, you get Bitcoin. That's crazy. That's something new, right? People would like to know about it. So that's kind of value our Bloom want to inject to the merchants. Things are changing, and everything has changed.
And how that the idea to have NFTs or crypto coming to that kind of loyalty programs came to you? Is it from like survey to your customers, or is maybe because you receive some message from your customers base?
I would say that because myself, I've been observing all the development of Web3 so many times, for a while. I've been seeing that so many successful companies like Crypto.com, like in US, there's a company called Fold. They actually issuing their own Visa card by rewarding people with a crypto back. So with such simple and beautiful services offered, and the people love it, and the people are starting earning different cryptocurrencies and to get into that world. So with that, you think about a crypto.com when they started for such a shorter time, and then they have so many users ready just because of that. And then so for us, it's a learning, right? So if crypto.com were full, they just issuing their own Visa card that can reach such huge volume base of the users. But think about us, if we can leverage entire Visa cards, car issuer network, and the Visa cards technologies, and then we can do much bigger things, and then much bigger things in socially good way. So that's how we think about it, how we should bring something new to the market.
How did you develop your product? Because you have a couple of products right now on the platform, so it's interesting to see how you develop it. Do you do some iteration? Do you do customer survey? Do you bring your client base here to your office, or do you have like any workshop with any of the company you are working with?
Mhm. Uh, we listen to customers. I love to chat with customers who complain our services. right? So I want to know where the problem is. So it's not like particularly like a survey things. I would like to help the people to help them, essentially to help us, right? So because when they use our product, so we have Bloom 1.0, 2.2, 2.0, 3.0 is coming up. So every generation of the product, involvement is actually from the customer's voice. So I speak with almost several hundred of our customers and say, do you understand our product? Is any pain point that when you're using the product, do you feel comfortable to link your Visa card? Right? Anything we can improve, right? Because we are actually in the formal partnership with Visa. But because of our brand name, our company is small, so people are still a little bit not that confident really to link their Visa card to us. So we have to, really build the trust. So how could you do it? So this really takes time, and then things like that. So I have to, solve that by building a better product as well as customer experience and the confidence and in terms of our security level as well. So everything is all rounded. So in terms of product building, it has to, for me and our team, is to really listen to the customers itself.
And do you have like some data about your customers? I remember when I saw your companies coming on the market last year, the growth was incredible. Do you know how many active members you have, monthly members you have using your application?
Yeah, we have almost 6 digit number of users at now at Hong
Okay,
Kong.
impressive.
Yeah, so I think for us, it take a little bit time and then energy to really educate a user because, like I said earlier, so people are expecting, when you get the loyalty points, you're actually scanning kind of a QR code, things that really not like maybe they get used to it. So we'll have to spend really a time to educate three words, link, span, and earn. So it sounds easy, right? But think about link. So it's need a trust, and that they have to really bring their Visa card out and to key in their credentials and to link that card with us. There's such a huge trust. So we spend so much time on that, and it has to be built out on the word of mouth, the customer experience, and then when I always tell my team, it is like, if you have a great product, you don't have to sell it. People, you user will sell it for you, just like Apple, right? So you have such a great experience at Apple, you will recommend me, hey, Eddie, you should try Apple tomorrow. You should try, AirPod, because it's so easy, so convenient, right? So for us, it's really, really spend so much time and then to educating user and to build a polish the product, and of course learn from the market, learn from the our campaigns, different campaigns. We have fair time, we have successful moments, but all come from different learning curves.
Can you share a bit more about your successful moments, the campaign you are super proud of it since the beginning?
Uh, I think of the first product we had is cross more campaign. That 11 more campaign is super super powerful, and because of that, we groomed a lot of users, and it's not easy job because you think about how people are thinking about. Nobody knows what Bloom is, right? It's not. We're not at the very beginning. People are thinking about it. Are you guys selling flowers? Because
Okay.
the name is
Yeah, yeah,
Bloom,
yeah.
right? And then after that, I spent so much time on educating the customer, tenants, merchants, and then after that, so, we are sort of made it because of the campaign and then the supporting from the malls. That's the first successful moment that we had. The second one is I think it's we've been spending so much time on building our upcoming, crypto rewards program, which hasn't launched yet. But I'm super super confident it will be draw a lot of attentions in the market, because that one we spend so much time on the getting out security, really how would the customer experience would be, and all the different algorithm, all the different bridge APIs built with different ecosystem players. So I'm sure that will be upcoming the big hit for us.
When we spoke before this interview, you share a lot of information about crypto rewards program gaining popularity, and also about credit cards adopters for crypto rewards.
Yep.
Could you just share a bit more about what you feel from like what you have seen on the market and what you expect to do with Bloom here in Hong Kong or in Asia?
I think in the markets, credit card industry are interesting. credit card is something really blended in our life, daily life already. So everybody using it. But how could you bring more, I would say, fun to the customers, right? Customer right now nowadays they don't look for like a redemption e-commerce systems, right? They don't look for okay, what I can use my points, right? They're looking for the scenario. They look for the value behind, right? Why should I use your car versus other companies' credit cards, right? And you also think about this can be referring to the virtual bank versus traditional bank, right? So why people using virtual bank rather than traditional bank? Because the value of services is so quick, customer experience, and then as well as better product services, right? So for us, it's the same. So when I look at the market, all the credit cards offering pretty much the similar things, which is loyalty points, or the cash coupons, cash rebates. Really, not something really surprised me. But when I saw the company like Crypto.com and the Fold, this company really are make a change. I would say make a change in ways it offers something as a potential economic benefits to the user. Because think about it, if you get the cryptocurrency by spending at those credit cards or debit cards, you get you get an interest of the different volatility of the market. It could be high, it could be low, right? But if it's craps, that's cost nothing for the user as well. But it's interesting that you'll be seeing, observing, learning something new, right? So and then you'll be engaged with the community to say, oh, it's Bitcoin is going down today, Bitcoin is going up tomorrow, and then you have more interesting to know what's behind that technology like blockchain, right? Behind the cryptocurrency, which is a blockchain. So I would think that's interesting for a lot of people to starting thinking about the value behind that rewards program. Because rewards program, think about that. I did my own math. So if I really accumulated the air miles from by spending my credit cards was I think my miles actually inflated. So I never know like how much my how many air tickets I can exchange with my existing mileage, and then so I seldom use it more and more because travel hit it and I cannot do anything about it. So that I think is happens to a lot of people. Yeah,
Um, I would like to ask some question about your teams right now.
yeah.
How big is your team? Everyone's based only in Hong Kong. Are you planning to expand some maybe in Thailand, Singapore, or the rest of Asia?
Yeah. So we have roughly 30 people at the moment. Half of them actually located in China, which is our engineers, product teams, and then half of them are actually located in Hong Kong, which is in charge of business operations, marketing, as well as strategic partnership.
And in terms of tech teams, is it like 20%, 50%, or 80% of your company?
50%.
50% of the company.
Yeah. But I also look for, because we work with Visa,
Mhm.
and then we're also in the world of the, sort of a digital asset. So it's definitely very global. So our next move is actually going to the countries like Singapore, Australia, and New Zealand to the first try as a international expansions. We would like to offer our product services there. And then, this is simply because, that's English speaking countries, and then people and the penetration of the credit card there is super high, and then so that's the reason why I pick out these places. Yeah,
What is the best part of running your company right now?
that's the part.
Yes.
Well, I think that's a good questions. I think it's friendship, and then the enjoyment that I have with my team. Oftentimes people talk about success because how many users you have, right? How much money you generated. For me, I think the most exciting moment, successful moment, is like we can build the things together, and then the relationship we had is great, and then all the things we experience, including good moment, bad moment, stressful moment, they're all happy for me. So that's a super best part of my this startup so far.
And what makes a great team for you?
I think trust, super important. So if you're a small team, you're funding a startup, you gotta make sure that you trust the people that you work with, and then even they are not maybe professional in the industry or in the area they're being charged. But I think people grow, and then also, we don't know everything, right? If you hire somebody, you better just let them to handle the jobs and let them to grow and then to learn from everything together. So I think that the trust is super super important.
A lot of people coming here explain to me that they spend a lot of time to try to still do interviews with a potential candidate for their company, or they try to give at least like a couple of hours on their agenda for recruitment. Do you take care of these parts as well in your company right now?
Which part? Sorry.
Recruitment, hiring of people.
Yeah, I do. Most of my teams right now actually hired directly by me. The first interview is me,
Okay.
because I like to meet with people. I like to know how they think about a company, how they think about us. Because I think if I don't think this candidate is culturally fit with the team, I don't want to waste his or her time as well as our team's time, HR's time to interview with him or her.
And what is the DNA of your company? Because you just speak about culture. So what kind of value do you drive into your company
Yeah.
and how you share it with your teams?
I always say bloom. It's such a good word. It's deeply embedded with everyone. Every candidate will be interviewed with. Everyone who joined our company, I see them blooming in the ways they groom themselves better, and then they groom the companies better. And then I think, that's simply, to put it that way, bloom is the best DNA in our team.
If we come back to your company, I know that you're working with Visa. You mentioned it a couple of times here, and also sometimes you collaborate with banks or you collaborate with malls in Hong Kong. What is the biggest difficulties for you to collaborate with these large companies, especially when we come to partnerships and the creation of ecosystems?
Mm. For now, I think for me personally, is the international expansions. Because previously my startup or companies are all resonated, located, focused in Hong Kong, but now things get really changed so quickly, and then we have to really expand in the business in other countries. In a way, it has such bigger market, such potentials there, but it also means a huge challenge for me and our teams because we never know what's going to come around the corner. We never know what will be happening about different payments landscape, as well as how it changes the different cryptocurrencies as well as NFT market. We're just right on the roll.
Okay, interesting. When you use you it comes to large institutions, how do you help them to rethink about the loyalty with the customers, but also working on digital solutions? Because most of the malls, for example, they still have the small tickets, right? That they give when you buy, or maybe they're part of a program, right? So how do you help them to rethink about their loyalty solutions?
Uh, Humbly speaking, I don't think we can help them to rethink their strategy as well as their products because I think each of the financial institutions know their customers best, know their clients best. So I think everyone just finding the different customer segments that fits their business model better. So I would say people are picky, and the people nowadays doesn't really have their loyalties because there's so much offering in the market. So, what wins out is how you provide a value to the customers. I always say to that team, like, you know, our value proposition is still connecting people from Web 2 to Web 3. So, we also classify ourselves as Web 2.5. Yeah,
Okay,
you know,
interesting.
like, yes, we're facing a lot of people who has interest to know more about the crypto world, know about what is NFT, including some very very young generations. But it comes to cost, they're thinking they will be hesitated. Like I say, oh, I don't want to spend like $5,000 to buy bitcoins or Ethereum because they would consider it like investment, really, and they'll be hesitated. They'll just refuse everything out. And then same as NFT, right? So you have to buy it, you have to trade it, you have to really pay for your tuition fee for it. So people are hesitated. So where our positioning in the 2.5 is like you don't have to spend anything. Go spend your Visa card, earn your rewards, convert to cryptocurrency, learn, cover, redeem NFT, and then started trading it, see how it goes, right? So we have a lot of people who are actually have the interest, but doesn't really have the chance to try, all the Web3 stuff. So we're happy to be that position for now.
Okay, interesting. I see what you mean when you say 2.5. It's interesting. One of my question would be: do you have any common myth or like urban legends that you thought it would be really um, happening somewhere in your industry, and finally it's not happening, and you were super surprised about it?
In the payment.
Yeah, in the payment space, or
Yeah, when back to 2015, right? So all the payments bloom in Hong Kong, and then I was thinking about um, people should be able to adapt use technology payments much quicker than it should be today, right?
Mhm.
I think right now Hong Kong, because of consumption vouchers, really give a huge push to the payment side of the customer behavior. So I think that really comes really late than I expected. And the second part, I think, is cryptocurrencies acceptance. I think it's not just about Hong Kong, but about over the world globally, because um, in the myth that people say cryptocurrency should be a currency, right? By definitions, but actually, people nowadays trading is actually asset, create a digital asset, becomes like a tradable asset. So I think that's really turns out not as expected as everyone. But even the Satoshi thinks is not as he thinks, right? So for me, it's also surprised, but we will see because a lot of changes in the market and a lot of companies be building different scenarios on the different side of the payments as is connecting different parts. I think I'll be very very looking forward to what's happening around the corner.
and my next question is, what's next for you? So
I think next for me is, firstly, I would say try to build a good company cultures to ensure everybody is enjoying the works, and then as well as the life better. Second of all is expanding the team to different part of sports, including, so let's start from Singapore. And because we really think Singapore has a huge potential, like Hong Kong, as our first stepping stone to connect the other side of the world as a first trial. Yeah, personally, I think my next move is trying to find a time to really get married with my wife, because we really don't have the time to to celebrate. Even we're engaged, but we haven't signed the paper. We haven't really have found the time to just because of COVID. That's personal for me.
yeah, you need to take time for yourself as well, I mean, right?
Yeah.
I think we are close to the end of this interview, but I have a couple of questions for you just to conclude this one.
Yeah.
Do you have any piece of advice for anyone listening to this interview?
Yeah, I think for anyone who is interested on your program, definitely who is interested in the fintech, I think fintech industry is become more and more mature right now. So different people different companies being playing different parts. So I think for now, if people who just generally listen, interested in fintech, that's great. Because can learn different things from you, from the speakers. But if you're in the industry, I think my advice is better to pick up the one of the product line or one of the stream to really focus deeply, diving to learn more in the industries and how what's happening, because there's so many things going on in the market already. So you don't want to miss anything, because the industry really get bigger and bigger, and then people in the industry becomes more professional. So I think that's my advice, and I would do it as well.
You mentioned you're still hiring people. What kind of people are you looking right now? Do you have like any kind of project manager you're looking for, business developers or tech?
I think we're hiring all kinds of people. I think for me is we look for who really want to make a change, who would like to leverage whether it's own past experience, regardless of different banking experience or different retailing experience, or even existing in crypto side of the world. Want to join, to becomes like a connector between Web2 and Play. We're happy to have a chat, really to learn from each other. So in general, product team, tech team, business, guys, we all need different talents.
And where can they reach out to you or to your company?
Just find me on LinkedIn. It's easy. It's Eddie Rong, Rong, easy to find. That's probably so far as the only Eddie Rong I found in LinkedIn.
I will share your link of your profile. Um, where people can learn about you as well. Do you have a blog? Do you share some articles time to times, or like maybe it's only on LinkedIn?
Most of my past history is actually listed on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
where you can just simply Google me, Eddie Rong. You might find some funny videos, interviews, and then and articles about me, how I founded my first startup, second startup, and then this one. So yeah.
I think people must learn a lot from you, especially on your entrepreneurship journey, right? It's a rich run that you got, and you are one of the first and young entrepreneurs in the fintech space back then in 2016.
Well, I mean, it's just trying to make some change. I think because my motto is always like being a responsible creators. So it doesn't really, for me myself, I think not only we have to create economic benefits to the world, but also we need to make a socially good change to the world as well. So I'm trying to all my projects I'm doing is trying to solve some social problem as well. So that's my sort of a personal missions rather than just really go there and fund a startup. I really know what I'm doing.
Thank you very much, Eddie. It was a big pleasure to have you here today, and it's every time great to see you here in Hong Kong. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming today,
Thanks for having me again.
and
Appreciate it.
take care and see you soon.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.